Hello, and welcome back for a little Redstone fun. It's been a while since we talked about Redstone and logic gates and Boolean algebra. So let's see if we can remember some of the stuff. And what I'm thinking we'll do today actually is talk about I know that Boolean algebra truth tables and such gets kind of boring. But I think we need just a tad more, and then we can move on to some more interesting things. I don't know if you actually noticed, but when we talk about Boolean algebra, let's say if you want to add like two input, I mean a plus b, I don't know if you actually paid attention to that, but that is actually pretty simple. That's what you do when you have your OR gate. Do I have a truth table somewhere? Did I? Or did I erase it? Oh well. Anyways, that's not so hard. Remember the OR gate. If you have an A0 and B0, then your output would be 0. If your A is 0 and your B is 1, your output would be 1. So that would be the equivalent of saying 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. Likewise, if your A is 1 and your B is 0, you have 1. So that's 1 plus 0 is 1. And if both your inputs are 1, your output will be 1. But since we're only working with one bit, we don't really have a way to we don't have to do anything with our carry. Anyways, that's for a plus b. Likewise, if we wanted to multiply these a b, sorry, you would do it with an AND gate. Like if we must have the truth table. Much easier if you have the truth table for this. Seriously, I did not put these truth tables down now. No, that's another end. Anyways, your AND gate would be if your A is 0 and your B is 0, that would be 0 times 0 is 0. Your A is 0, your B is 1, 0 times 1 is 0. Your A is 1 and your B is 0, so that's 1 times 0, also 0. And if both your inputs, your A and B, are 1, that would be 1 times 1, then your output would be 1. So in that way, you already now know actually how we can add and multiply. And when we can add and multiply, we can also subtract and divide, of course. So we can actually do something with this. We can make some functions, and that's, if you watch the other videos, this is kind of the whole idea here, So, but we talked about the Boolean algebra, and let's say the rules of your ordinary algebra. Do these still apply? Otherwise, what's the use for it if they don't? So So let's see here. If we want to let's see what's one of these. Yeah, this one, it seems. So what we have here is we have an AND gate and another AND gate. So, and the inputs we have A and B ANDed, so that would be A times B, and we have A and C ANDed, so that would be A times C. And then we OR these two together, so that would be AB plus AC. So this one would compute AB plus AC. Do I have a sign? Yeah. Signs are good. So if we look at it, what we have there is we have AB plus AC. Come on, AC. But you would normally, at least in algebra, you might think when you're doing some math here, you might say, I can factor this. I mean, I can factor this into A, B, oh, there we go, A, B plus C. It would be the same thing if you use the distributive law. So we have this B plus C, and we know how we do that. The plus, which was the OR. So actually we have B plus C here, and we have A times B plus C here. And that is a much simpler circuit. Now, of course, in order to make sure that this is actually the same, it is easy to see from the truth tables that the functions are equivalent, because that holds true if and only if they have the same output. And you might say, okay, are we going to be looking at some big some big truth tables about this? Well, let's see. Yeah, as we can see here, when we compute our AB, 0, 0, it's 0, and 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. I mean, you take 0 times 1 would be 0. Likewise, we have our AC here. Then we add these two together, and we will get this output for our A, B plus AC. And then we can go over here and we can do this truth table where we have our A and we have our B plus C, and then we have our A times with our B plus C here, and we will get this output. And you can see here that these are in fact equivalent. So just by doing that, we can actually say that our that are Boolean algebra. That the distributive law in our holds truth in our Boolean algebra, and we do have a lot more laws in algebra that we need to make sure holds truth, and you can take all these and you can prove them by either by writing down the truth table. I'm not going to do that for our functions, but basically we have the identity law, the null law, the idempotent law, the inverse law, the commutative law, associative law, distributive law, Short's law, and De Morgan's law. Yeah, this might be a bit funny to prove, and as you can see, I have used a bit of a notation here in order to say that this part here is inverted or knotted, and this is, and this is. What we wanted to, yeah. It gets the notation gets a bit tricky since I can't put a dash over here. Anyways, this is what you would normally see, and so these are the identities, some of the identities of our Boolean algebra. But let's get out of here. Let's put in no did. Right, so we can actually compute functions, and we know our algebra is holds truth. We have these identities. So, well, I'm just, before we do that, before we actually get to our final bit, I think we will just take this little setup here, because we do have we have our not and our not and our not or and our and our or. But you'll come across this one quite often, which is an exclusive OR, XOR, because, well, when it's exclusive, that means, as opposed to your normal OR would be true if A or if B or if AB. If any of those is true, it would be true, but an exclusive OR, it has to be either A or B, but not both. So it's like this one, but not both. This would, in a normal OR, then the piston would have been powered down here, and like this. And what you would normally do is you'd, well, there's some different ways to do it. And see, this is a little crossover here, because you'd feed the inverted. If you have A here, then you feed the inverted signal together with your B into, this is OR-gates, yeah, and likewise your inverted B together with your A. And then you OR those. And as we already talked about, we have, because of the equivalence between circuits, we can design this however we wanted to. And the one on the wiki, I think, is this way, where you have your your OR and your NOT gates here. So and yeah, like that. And as I said, the actual circuits, as you can always find places where you can look them up if you need them. If you need, oh wait, how did I make an AND gate? How did I make an exclusive OR gate, or something like that? So I'm not going to talk much about the actual small circuits like this. But what we want to build up to is to start making some computations, so we can start making a bit of calculations and such. And I think there's a couple of things that are important, and in that respect, about the actual characteristics of Redstone. How does Redstone, what can it do and what can it do? What can the pistons do? What can the Redstone torches here do and not do? And what limitations do we have to work around or with when we build stuff? As you can see here, we have a bit of a tower now. Yeah. Well, and I think I will save that for the next video, where we get to the more, and we will talk a bit more about. Okay, but how to actually work things in Redstone, instead of talking a lot about Boolean algebra and truth tables, because I think we have that down now, so we can move on. So the next part will be about the actual limitations. I think would be probably the best word for working with Redstone. What is this? And when we have that cleared out of the way, then we can move on to some a bit more involved, a bit more advanced circuits, so that we might finally arrive at a point where we can actually build something that can compute stuff. So I think that will be interesting. But for now, if you really want to grasp this, I suggest you look up a bit about truth tables and Boolean algebra, because that's really what drives the final part we are going to create here. So until next time, I hope you do your homework, right?